Kevin, you have differing opinions. Funny story, back on track here. The funny story is actually I had to go purchase a new vehicle this week. My lease was running out. I'm a fucking idiot, so I was 10,000 miles over, a.k.a. $2,200.
Ow.
And I actually saw you because you work at the place where I got the car. He's not a salesman guy. He's a fucking accountant, so back off. And
I ain't selling you shit.
And
you're just dealing with it.
We were talking about it, and I know that you really think that these NCAA rules, they might be good kind of on the outside, but they aren't good as a whole. And I couldn't disagree more. I think people are kind of looking at them in a long-term fashion when I think these are short-term rules to get to the long-term. But first, why don't you tell me kind of what you think, Mike? I want to hear what you think. But Kev, like, what about these rules could be bad? Because I just don't understand where the negative is. I understand, like, if you think they're window shopping or something, but I don't see a negative.
I just don't see, like, their main point that they were trying to address, in my opinion, was the whole agent getting represented after high school and college, after college for the draft. And so they're going to install a list of certified agents that will be addressed to an X amount of players that we can get into in a minute. But, I mean, these players are already getting represented by agents.
After they declare for the draft.
You don't think there's college basketball players right now that have been in contact with agents?
Yeah, but that's what you're doing. But what you're doing here is then you're taking away the crime. It's kind of like, guess what? We legalize weed. We decriminalize weed. You're taking away the crime. Like, there's always people with weed, but now they're getting charged for a crime for having weed. If you take away the rule where these guys can't have an agent, and only the top guys deserve an agent. Like, I get that they're still in college athletics, they're semi-pro, but like, only the top players can have an agent. You can have some sort of reward system, even if that's it. Like, I don't understand where you're coming from on this at all. I think
the agent system is a great idea because it has to be certified. By certifying these agents, it is greatly decreasing the chance that something that happens, like what happened with Trent Richardson, where he's just completely exploited for his talent and his money, and then he's left with nothing. That's why I really think that certifying is a good idea. I like the fact that they can talk to them in between the season, so they can get a better idea if they actually want to go to the draft, see like their prospects and everything. But they do have to stop talking to them if they do decide to stay.
Well, and
after the season
not only
starts.
that, like we saw earlier this year, Sean Miller and deep shit, Tom Izzo almost in deep shit for possibly somebody buying these kids a meal.
Yeah,
and that's another thing that's changed. These guys can buy these kids meals. They still can't give them shoes or give them money, but they can take them out for a meal, talk to them. And I think it's a good first step. I don't think you can go from A to Z right away. I think you got to go A, B, C, D, E. And I think that that's what this does. It's the first step. You're giving players a little bit of freedom. You're going to see if they fuck with it, which it shouldn't matter if they do or not, because these players should have a way to make money. They should be able to sell their own name. But if we're going to look at it realistically and not just say, hey, this is what I want, do it now, then this is a great first step. I mean, you can't do everything overnight. It's just not feasible. It's not possible.
And I get it that along with this, giving them agents is the whole ranking the elite players. And I get it. They're dealing with kids, so it's kind of outlandish to do stuff like that. But it's just unfeasible to allow the top 150 kids to have agents or something. It's just stupid. Only a certain amount of kids deserve to have the agents.
So I think the next step clearly is everybody can have agents. If an agent wants to represent you, that agent
I guess if they do, but then
you.
who's paying all these agents to represent these kids?
These agents aren't taking – the payment is, oh, shit, you're going to get drafted. I'm going to take my 10% off your NBA contract.
These agents don't get paid until you get paid. So they get a percentage – they get a percentage of your contract and your signing bonus and all that kind of stuff. So, like, that's what they're after.
Yeah, it's a long-term investment.
Okay.
Bitcoin.
I got it.
Yeah.
Just like Bitcoin.
Are you looking to increase your money in your bank account? Well, maybe you can buy Bitcoin. Or maybe you can represent a college basketball athlete. That's basically your two options now, right? Bitcoin, college basketball athlete representation. And if you can hear that, we're not playing an audio drop. I just live in Detroit, and that's ice cream truck. It's all about 10 o'clock at night.
So then you're going to see if that's the case where anyone can get an agent. There's just going to be all these guys. There's going to be these guys that are just scouting out these players like the shit coins, the penny coins, like Bitcoin, and they're just going to try to get as much as they can, represent as much as they can, and hope one of them hits.
Yeah, but all because you can get an agent, that doesn't mean every player in a D1 will get one.
Exactly.
No, I don't think
the guys who are probably the
it's
top 70 prospects. If you're looking at like an NBA mock draft, like the most consistently, the guys you see in the top 70 of that, those are the guys you're going to see get agents. Those are the guys the agents are going to spend their time on doing or on representing. Like that's just the way it's got to be. Like you can't do it overnight. I don't know why that. Like Jalen Rose, they're window shopping. Sure, they are. It's the NCAA and the NCAA is bullshit.
They're only doing all this because of that FBI investigation. That they're trying to. No, but it's okay because you have to change yourself. But I'm just saying, none of this is immediate term. So yes, it's cool, but it's not immediate, and the scope of it, for the most part, is only reaching a very small group of players.
Yeah.
This rule, more so than the others, reaches a broader spectrum in terms of the player pool. But I don't know, man.
Also, I like how they tried to sneak in. When they had the press release for the rules, some along the lines of undrafted players can return college athletics, but that's just not 100% true. In this case, what it is, and I think this is the worst part of all the rules. If you declare for the draft, you go into the draft, and then you don't get drafted, you're fucked unless you were invited to the combine, which in the NBA is about 50, 60 guys, I believe. And obviously the draft is only 60 guys, but not everybody's got the same rankings. So we're going to see a couple guys probably not pull out of the draft before the lottery like they're supposed to, and then end up getting fucked in the long run because they can't go back. They weren't invited to the combine. They had their uncle represent them who hasn't read shit on the rules. I mean, seriously though, this is the type of situation that we could run into this. But overall, I think that this is a good first step. I think it's something the NCAA needs to do. But I guess my question for you guys is, when you read the rules and I feel like we're finding out more minute by minute, hour by hour, and it kind of gets worse the more we read about it. But do you think this is a way for the NCAA to take those next steps? Or do you think this is a way for the NCAA to say, hey, look, guys, we're trying. We want these guys to be able to not be hungry, and then they're just going to forget about it all until we all start bitching about it again?
I think it's just a step for them to get control back of their fucking organization. Because they found out that they have no idea what's going on in terms of the recruiting process. They have no idea what's going on underneath them.
Well, and did they find that out, or did they get caught?
Well, they found it out regardless. So it was brought to their attention. And that's why I like the fact that they both bring in the third parties to investigate and penalize people that do further infractions in the future, and then also the stronger penalties.
Do you think they haven't had people to look into people who are violating the rules?
Don't you ever remember, like, they had to launch their own investigations? Based on what other people found, they could not use that. They had to go in themselves and find their own investigation. It's just kind of a waste.
I still think that's more saving face.
Oh,
They know this is going on. I mean, like, look at the last 6 months in the Big Ten alone for college football. We've had the Michigan State scandal, which ESPN they added on to and created a lot of that. Not the Larry Nassar stuff, but the stuff that followed it. We had that. Last year we had Art Briles. We obviously got the Urban Meyer stuff right now. That's why the thing that concerns me about this is I'm not 100% sure that the NCAA is looking to make strides as much as they're looking to take the attention for something else or act like they are progressing.
None of these rule changes are even close to an immediate solution for anything.
Like it, love it, or hate it.
I like it because there's things I definitely think are good ideas, but then I think it is window shopping because, like, with the getting agents, they cannot do that, especially the high school players, until at least 2022. So why the hell did you announce it right now?
Kev, like it, love it, or hate it?
I'm going to say I like it, too. I'm not in love with every little thing, obviously, but there are some good things about it. I do like the groups being able to help out NCAA do investigation and resolution in some of the complex cases. And
but I don't even know what that means necessarily. Like, complex cases, does that mean a guy who's a 4-star recruit in he is on the edge of being a 5-star recruit, or he hasn't gotten an invite to a U.S. men's national team camp. Like there's a lot of this that is just, hey, we're gonna pan it off on other people. We're not gonna take. I mean, USA basketball didn't even give approval for this. You have to be invited. You have to be invited to a U.S. men's national team training camp in order to receive an agent. Now they have the responsibility of deciding this kid who's ranked 180th in the country can be invited, but this kid who's ranked 169th in the country can't be invited because we think he's better. That no approval from the U.S. men's national team. How can you do that? How does nobody pick up the phone and say, "Oh, hey guys, do you think we could come to an agreement here, find a way where we can compromise and maybe we put together a list of players and have a committee that we both hire decide on something like that?" How does nobody contact the United States basketball?
No, because they can just say no, right?
I guess, but couldn't they just say no now?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, they don't want to. They don't. They've already told the NCAA that they do not want to have that responsibility. They don't deal with international players.
I was just gonna say, what about the players that are ineligible for USA basketball?
Even in Canada, that's international. That's outside USA basketball scope.
Those players cannot get agents. They can't get invited to the combine. So now we're just going to penalize these players.
That's a great point. I never thought about that. Yeah. That's a good point. Like, so you're telling me Luka Doncic couldn't have got an agent, but Eric Walton.
Exactly.
A round 2 pick, but he was a top recruit, a top freshman, McDonald's All-American. He gets an agent, but it's like he's a second-round pick. But then we get some of these first-round picks that don't have any representation, no guidance, no anything. Well, that doesn't seem fair to me. If they're all draft prospects, they should all have the same opportunity and the same representation as every other draft prospect.
So, yeah, I really think that the international players not being affected with or part of USA basketball, that is the problem.
Yeah.
You have to be able to give fair representation to people that are all joining the same draft. Like a fair chance to have representation. Because you're literally not giving them a chance, and it's not equal.
So I think, unfortunately, to sum it up, I think we're all on the same page, which is that the NCAA is doing one of two things. They're either taking the first steps or they're window shopping, and it's more likely that they're window shopping.
Yes.
We all agree on that?
Yeah.
I feel like they were pushed into a corner. They had to do something, and they just launched all this new stuff that they thought was going to solve these problems, and it's like don't necessarily.
And it looks good in a press release. I'll be honest, it all looks good in a press release. All of those changes, they do.